सेक्शन 8 के बारे में देखेंगे. अ पर्सन एंटाइटल्ड टू पोजेशन ऑफ ए स्पेसिफिक मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी, he may either sue for recovery of possession or in the alternative for compensation. Okay, दो इसके दो इंग्रेडिएंट्स हैं. या पोजेशन मिलेगा आपको ऑफ द स्पेसिफिक मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी और कंपेंसेशन. नाउ अ डिक्री इज फ्रेम in terms of order 20 rule 10 CPC. जरा खोल लीजिए order 20 rule 10 देख लीजिए आप.
Should I read, sir?
Yeah, जी, order 20 rule 10 CPC पढ़िए.
Okay, everyone, CPC order 20 rule 10, decree for delivery of movable property. Where the suit is for movable property and the decree is for the delivery of such property, the decree shall also state the amount of money to be paid as an alternative if the delivery cannot be had.
Yes. Yeah, sorry. In the first illustration which I gave you, that will relate to section 7. That is where you can seek the possession of the property or alternate compensation. But for the purpose of section 8, you can only seek possession of specific movable property. You cannot seek compensation. Please note that here. You can only specific movable property in terms of order 20, rule 10, the decree is sought. Isn't it? It has to be pleaded that no pecuniary compensation will be adequate relief for the loss of the article. That is very important, because that is in terms of the provisions of clause B. आप देखिए, when compensation in money would not afford the plaintiff adequate relief for the loss of thing claim. तो plaint में क्या लिखेंगे आप? The plaintiff is filing the present suit for recovery of specific movable property, namely a painting, namely a particular antique which has been lost, which is in the possession of the defendant. And there should be a decree against him in terms of the provisions of order 20 and rule 10 of the code of civil procedure. That should be passed here. And you must make mention there, the plaintiff will suffer irreparable loss. Monetary compensation will not adequately compensate the plaintiff. So the suit is specifically filed. Whereas in the case of section 7, you can seek both the compensation. We can first seek the recovery of the property in movable property, or in the alternative, your relief will be for compensation. But in the case of section 8, alternate remedy of compensation is not available. You must make a specific, I want my painting back. It is very valuable to me. It is my antique. What is the loss? It is my valuable pen, a diamond ring. I do not want compensation. So it is in the possession of the defendant. The defendant is bound and liable to deliver it to me, or seek a mandatory order of injunction directing him to hand it over to you. That is the crux of the case here under the provisions of section 8. So recovery of, you may seek an injunction restraining him not to create third party interest, not to dispose it of, not to alienate it. So a suit, prayer A will be your substantive prayer. It may be in the nature of a mandatory order of injunction, or maybe in the nature of a decree under the code of civil procedure, that a decree may be passed against him directing the defendant to hand it over, or a mandatory order of injunction be granted under the provisions of the specific relief act, namely section 37, 39, mandatory order of injunction directing him to deliver it to the plaintiff. Then in the meanwhile, you may also seek a perpetual order of injunction or a temporary order of injunction under order 39, rule 1 and 2, and section 37 of the SRA Act, that pending the hearing and final disposal of the suit, the defendant be restrained from creating third party interest. वो किसी भेज देगा, फिर छोड़ देगा. जो interim orders लीजिए आप. This will be in consonance with the provisions of section 37 SRA Act, order 39, rule 1 and 2 CPC, and as well as the provisions of section 94 CPC. And if you know that the place is kept in a bank locker kahin bhi, you let there be a court receiver be appointed under the provisions of order 40 rule 1 CPC. The court receiver take physical possession. Let the court, the custodio legis will take the property. With the direction that here you may be appointed as the agent of the court receiver to hold the property. The property may be a delicate item, may be likely to be perishable very soon. That may be immediately be given to you. So under section 8, by virtue of the phraseology which is used, you can only seek possession of the article, the movable property, and compensation is not taking. Now the first prayer number 1, 8 check kar lenge aap. Number 1, when a thing is held by the defendant as the agent or a trustee of the plaintiff. So an agent and a trustee both are acting in a fiduciary capacity. They are in trust here. They cannot appropriate. They cannot misappropriate. They cannot use the property for their own use and occupation. So they are bound and liable to give it to you. So a trustee may be, a trustee can be, it may be an express trust, or it can be by implication, I mean it may be an oral trust, or they can be a constructive trust, both under the provisions of the Indian Trust Act. भी check करेंगे आप. A specific relief act के अंदर भी the definition of trust has been given. The definition पढ़िए आप trust का राघव, तो समझ में आ जाएगा इनको.
Trust. Trust has the same meaning as section 3 of the Indian Trust Act 1882 and includes an obligation in the nature of a trust within the meaning of chapter 9 of that act, which says obligation annexed to the property or ownership of the property for the benefit of the owner or the public. This is what is there in section 3 of the Indian Trust Act.
Section 3 says it's an obligation annexed to the ownership of the property and arising out of the confidence reposed and accepted by the owner and declared and accepted by him for the benefit of another or another and the owner. So you have kept the ornament, your ornament with your brother, sister, or your wife. So they are your trustee. They cannot misappropriate it. Or your wife has kept the articles, her jewelry with you, which she has received during marriage time, given to mother-in-law after the marriage. It is a custom in some of the families in India. The moment the wife is married, the girl comes and the articles are given to the head of the family, mother-in-law, father-in-law. So they keep in the bank locker. So they are acting in a fiduciary capacity. Tomorrow, unfortunately, relations are strained, resulting in 498A action, resulting in divorce, and the property is not handed over. So you have a right to file a complaint. You have a right to file a suit under section 8. Isn't it? That's a specific, my jewelry must be given. My jewelry has been kept by them in their capacity as a trustee. They were my trustees acting in a fiduciary capacity. Now, in the wake of the fact that relations are strained, I no longer trust them. The bank is a trustee. If a locker is in a locker, mein aap article rakhe, the bank cannot misappropriate. The bank cannot, they are bound, they are under obligation to hand it over to you. In case they are your trustees. Easily, within the meaning of section 8 of the specific relief act, a trustee cannot discharge. So the agency relationship, agency and principal, the agent is bound and liable to account for the profits and the transactions done on behalf of the principal. And if it's not done, he has the right to revoke the authority. Under the Indian Contract Act के अंदर आपने the doctrine of agency देखे हुए आपने, isn't it? There's a doctrine of agency which clearly establishes uske hisab se, if an agent has retained the goods of the principal, a suit would lie under section 8. These are specific goods. My documents are lying in his custody, isn't it? Suppose आपने flat book किया builder से, he could not he could not build the flat. You come to know that permission नहीं मिल रहा है उसको from the municipal corporation. Then earnest money must be returned back. So you, under section 8, even a specific, even you can return back your earnest money, because that is money which has been entrusted to the builder. The builder is your trustee he is acting in a fiduciary capacity. He cannot misappropriate. वो हाथ नहीं उठा सकता कि मैं return नहीं करूंगा. The Supreme Court has put many builders in the jail now isn't it? Who are not able to give the flat or able to pay money. Right from Sahara's owner and Delhi ke andar, many of the owners, you have seen that the courts are very harsh on them. Sometimes in a public interest litigation, it is being done. If I suppose a suit under Section 8 will longer time, so the courts are invoking the power under Article 226 and Article 32, and also under Order 1 Rule 8 CPC, which is called a representative suit, a class of suit where hundreds of people can join in one suit. One person can agitate for the interest of everybody. Representative suit, इसके बारे में जान लीजिए जरा पढ़िए, इनको जरा बताइए, अच्छा रहेगा. Order 1 Rule 8 जरा पढ़ लीजिए.
Just a second, sir.
It's a class of action like a public interest litigation. Public interest litigation तो अभी शुरू हुआ था इंडिया के अंदर in 70s and 80s when Justice Bhagwati was there in charge, when Justice Krishna here. But whereas the representative suit under Order 1 Rule 8 CPC, in fact, started in the year 1906 when it come here. तो आप जरा दिखाइए इनको, the very important है. When a builder is acting in a fiduciary capacity, if money is collected, 100 people are not, he's not refunding, you need not pay, you need not file 100 suit. एक suit file कर दीजिए आप, काफी है. Order 1 Rule 8 देख लीजिए आप.
Order 1 of
Rule
CPC.
8.
That is,
Yeah,
that
Order
talks
1
about
Rule 8.
parties to
sue.
Rule 8 says one person may sue or defend on behalf of all in the same interest. Where there are numerous persons having the same interest in one suit, one or more of such persons may, with the permission of the court, sue or be sued, or may defend such suit on behalf of or for the benefit of all the persons so interested. And second, the court may direct that one or more persons may sue or be sued or may defend in such suit on behalf of or for the benefit of all the persons so interested.
Yes. So this has so many clauses here that we need not read again. You may omit here. In nutshell, in a representative capacity, hundreds of people's causes can be brought, thousands and lakhs. सबको साथ में लेके आएंगे and take the permission of the court, leave of the court to be taken. That the plaintiff will make a statement, I am filing the present suit in a representative capacity for myself on behalf of the other co-plaintiffs who are also agreed by the matter. So we are seeking the suit, by virtue of this suit, we are filing against the builder for refund of the money. The earnest money which he has collected, thousands and lakhs and crores of rupees, which he is unable to pay to us. The flats and the permissions are not been obtained. He is not in a position to construct the flats because permission has not been granted by the municipal corporation. The land belongs to scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, or a prohibited class of people. There is development is not permissible. So we have been induced to purchase this property. So he must refund the money. We believed his representations are fraudulent. So as a trustee acting in a representative capacity, he cannot retain it. एक suit file कीजिए, काफी आप. There is no need to file hundreds of suits application in this regard. A writ petition would lie only against government under Article 12 of the Constitution, instrumentality of the state. When it's the private parties, and the writ will not lie. You all know that here, isn't it? Sometimes you invoke many lawyers are very, ingenuity use करते, writ petition file कर देते, joining the private parties and municipal corporation, government as a party to fulfillment. And sometimes your luck is good, the court entertain. Many times the court says this, there are disputed facts, go before the civil court. When there are disputed facts, you will have to go under Section 9. Now, the jurisdiction of the civil court come into play under Section 9. Then the procedural provisions, how the suit is to be maintained. Okay. That is
yes, sir. There's one question.
जी.
इसमें लिखा है he is not the owner, may be compelled to specifically deliver. The question is, sir, how do we compel someone by legal means?
By a issue of a mandatory order of injunction, Section 39. 39 देख लीजिए. For example, number 1, 39 of the specific relief act. Mandatory injunction. Section 39 of the SRA Act.
Should I read, sir?
Yes.
mandatory injunction, section 39 of Specific Relief Act, when to prevent the breach of an obligation, it is necessary to compel the performance of certain acts which the court is capable of enforcing. The court may, in its discretion, grant an injunction to prevent the breach complained of and also to compel the performance of the requisite acts.
Yes. Yahan pe your first prayer will be that this honorable court be pleased to grant a mandatory order of injunction directing the defendant, his agents, servants and representatives to deliver the property as explained in Exhibit A to the plaintiff. That is one way of seeking remedy under the SRA Act. The second remedy is under the Code of Civil Procedure, seeking a decree. Now, decree के लिए आप section 2 देख लीजिए, आप पढ़िए, मैं समझाता हूं how decree is asked for. Section 2 देख लीजिए, 2. Decree means, वो पढ़िए आप जरा.
जी sir, reading. Guys, if anyone feels that it's going fast, so just give me an indication in the chat so we can go slow whenever you want. 2.2 of CPC, section 2 clause 2 CPC says decree means formal expression of an adjudication which, so far as regards the court expressing it, conclusively determines the rights of the parties with regard to all or any of the matters in the controversy in the suit, and may be either preliminary or final. It shall be deemed to include the rejection of a plaint, that is Order 7 Rule 11, and the determination of any question within section 144, which is your restitution.
Restitution, yes.
But shall not include any adjudication from which an appeal lies as an appeal from an order. That means
104.
Orders are not decrees. And any order of dismissal for default, which is also not a decree and hence not appealable under section 96, which is the general provision for appeal against decrees.
Yes. Now, the prayer now you are seeking under the Code of Civil Procedure, having filed a suit under section 9. That's a jurisdiction clause. So, prayer A, that this honorable court be pleased to order and decree the defendant. That this honorable court be pleased to order and decree the defendant to hand over to the plaintiff the specific movable property which is in his possession, namely the jewelry, namely the painting, namely the goods, namely the articles, namely the document conveyance which are in possession, which were entrusted to him at the time of the commencement of the contract, which he is unable to perform. Okay, that is one prayer rahega. That is a prayer A, that is called substantive prayer. Uske ilawa, your suit will take longer time. Suit is decided after leading evidence of both the parties, plain written statement, discovery, inspection, framing of the issues. Then evidence is led, examination chief, cross-examination, re-examination in the evidence act. वो लंबा तरीका है. तो immediately suit के साथ में plain के बाद में you take out one interim application under the provisions of Order 39, Rule 1 and 2, read with section 94, 151 and 36 of the Specific Relief Act.
Sir, sections thoda dheere bolne padenge.
Okay. Under the provisions of Order 39, Rule 1 and 2, CPC, Order 39, Rule 1 and 2 CPC, grant of temporary injunction, interlocutory orders. Then under the provisions of section 94 CPC, supplemental proceedings, section 151 of the Code of Civil Procedure, inherent powers, read with section 37 of the SRA Act, temporary and perpetual injunction. So these are the provisions a young lawyer is required to remember and must have the acts with him, bare act. Now the prayer, how it is drafted, I'll tell you. This prayer, it will be normally prayer B. Prayer A to आपका हो गया, that is that this honorable court be pleased to order and decree the defendant to hand over possession. Prayer B, that pending the hearing and final disposal of the suit. That pending the hearing and final disposal of the suit, the defendant, his agents, representatives, and all persons claiming under him be restrained by an order of injunction of this honorable court from creating third party interests, selling, encumbering the suit property, namely, which is described in Exhibit A of the plain, that is movable property. Otherwise, what happens if you don't seek this order? वो बोलेगा मैंने बेच दिया, खराब हो गया. It will become infructuous. अगर if you want more drastic order, prayer B डालिए, prayer C डालिए आप. Prayer C will be under order 40. Under order 40, rule 1 CPC पढ़िए आप. मैं बताता हूँ, it's a very interesting prayer. Appointment of a court receiver before or after the decree. This
Should I read order
yes,
40 rule?
please पढ़िए, order 40 rule 1 पढ़िए आप.
Okay, I hope everyone has flipped to order 40 rule 1. Rajesh ji, give me a thumbs up when you're there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start reading. Order 40 rule 1, appointment of receivers. Where it appears to the court to be just and convenient, the court may by order appoint a receiver of any property, whether before or after the decree.
Underline the word before or after the decree. Before mean the moment you file a suit, you can seek interim orders. After decree mean in execution you can seek it. Okay? आइए उसके बाद पढ़िए आप.
B, remove any person from possession or custody of the property.
Yes. देखिए कितने drastic power है.
C says commit the same to the possession, custody, or management of the receiver.
Yes. D.
And D, confer upon receiver all such powers as to bringing and defending suits for the realization, management, protection, preservation, and improvement of the property, the collection of rents and profits thereof, the application and disposal of such rents and profits, and execution of documents as the owner himself has, or such of those powers as the court thinks fit.
See, you read this, a court has sweeping powers. I mean, the court is almost granting a decree at the interim stage. In appropriate cases, the court has right to pass the full relief itself. But you must make out a good case. Appointment of a receiver is an equitable order, most serious order, which is passed in rarest of rare cases with great circumspection and caution, and not as a matter of course. उसके लिए the court must be convinced कि say when you have a very strong case, आप जीतने वाले केस है ये, you cannot lose this case. You have a concluded contract in your favor, and the defendant is bound by it. The possession of the article is in his possession, and the intention of the defendants are not honorable. He is likely to dispose it of, alienate it. So let the property be brought in the court, be in the custody of the court receiver, who is also known as custodial legis. क्या बोलते हैं? जरा उनको डेफिनेशन का वर्ड बताइए, custodial legis का डेफिनेशन बताइए गूगल से निकाल के.
Yes, sir. custodial leges is said to have disposing power over the property in custodial leges, that is the property or money deposited in court.
So the entire control is with the court. Some officer is appointed, he is a court receiver. It may be an officer of the court, he may be an advocate. Or the court may choose any person competent to do that. In the case of a painting, some sculpture, in the case of some antique, some reliable person who is in the art of working. So a drastic power can be invoked at the beginning of the filing of the suit so that your property is not endangered. You have to make a statement in the application and the plan. Your property is likely to be damaged and wasted because there are Supreme Court judgment on that point. These provisions of Order 40 Rule 1 of the Code of Civil Procedure can be only invoked if the plaintiff has prima facie. Now, for example, one of the leading case where this receiver was appointed was we argued under Section 44 TP Act when the property was sold by the two brothers to a stranger. That is what are the brothers' name? Kumi Marden's case, Warden brothers case. The receiver was appointed there. Court name.
Sir, can you repeat the name?
Kumi Warden's case. देखो मैं दिया था आपको सर beginning of the lecture में दिया था आपको Kumi Warden brothers 90 का जजमेंट है. मैं भेजा था आपको, देखिए मैं दोबारा देख लेता हूं. I'll check it up and give you the citation. सेक्शन 6 में भी दिया था आपको मैं अर्लियर. हमदर्द में भी दिया था मैंडेटरी इंजंक्शन के पे दोराब कवास जी वार्डन पे. सॉरी देखो दोराब कवास जी वार्डन वर्सेस कुमी सोराब वार्डन निकाल लीजिए आप. दिस इज रिपोर्टेड इन दिस जजमेंट इज रिपोर्टेड इन AIR 1990 पेज नंबर 867. दोराब कवास जी वार्डन. और फॉर एग्जाम्पल इसमें भी दिया और कृष्णाराम महालेस केस भी निकाल लीजिए, उसमें रिसीवर अपॉइंट किया है.
Sir, I've sent the judgment to everyone. I think everyone.
अभी कृष्णाराम महाले निकाल लीजिए. कृष्णाराम महाले में रिसीवर अपॉइंट किया सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने. Where the landlord had dispossessed the tenant after termination of the agreement, he said you cannot do that. Receiver was appointed. देखो कृष्णाराम महालेस केस. कृष्णाराम महाले का मैं पैराग्राफ मैं दिखाता हूं अभी. That is reported in the judgment is reported in AIR 1989 Supreme Court, page number 2097. Now, where the receiver is, paragraph number 12 check कर लीजिए आप. Can you please read paragraph number 12, Raghav?
Sir, I'll just take a minute. I'll have to fetch it out.
Yes.
Okay, I've shared it with everyone in the group, so you all can also open it up.
89 Supreme Court, page number 2097, Krishna Ram Mahale's case, paragraph number 12 relevant. पढ़िए रिसीवर के बारे में है इसके बाद.
Sir, para number 12 starts from learned counsel for the respondent submitted before us that the conduct of the appellant was such that apprehension could justly be entertained that the appellant would try to avoid compliance with the decree for possession confirmed by this court by putting some outsider in possession or some other underhand means, and that we should direct the executing court that decree should be executed with the police help against any person or persons who might be in possession of the business and premises wherein it was conducted. Instead of giving any directions to the executing court in this regard, we order that the court receiver of Bombay High Court is appointed as receiver of the said business and the premises in which the same was conducted as stated aforesaid. He will take the possession of the said business and premises from whomsoever may be in possession thereof. He may apply for police help in taking possession if he thinks fit. The receiver will then put the plaintiff in possession as his agent on usual terms without security on payment of such outgoings as the receiver may think fit, but without asking for any royalty. This order will remain in force for a period of 8 weeks from the date when the receiver takes possession, as aforestated, but will be subject to any orders which the executing court may pass after hearing the respondent herein.
So what a fantastic order, isn't it? This is doing complete justice to the parties. The landlord takes law in his own hand. He dispossesses his licensee even before the termination of the license. Because the law in India is that here no person can take law in their own hand, save and except by the due procedure established by law. So यहाँ पे rightly the court receiver was appointed by the Supreme Court suo moto, see, without even making application. Suo moto mean court ने अपने आप खुद किया, because he saw a lady is helpless and the landlord is ruthless. He takes the law in his own hand and he takes possession forcibly. And the court comes to the aid of the lady. Appoint a receiver, take forcible possession, direct the police to put into possession. What a beautiful sense of justice in this. There's a finest example of a receiver. Now, another example of receiver can be found in section 94 subclause C. अब आप पढ़िए CPC के अंदर.
Section 94
उसमें clause relevant clause D है. D पढ़िए. Appoint a receiver.
Just a second, sir.
ऊपर से पढ़िए आप जरा, अच्छा रहेगा. 94 से beginning से पढ़िए. Supplemental proceeding in order to prevent. वहां से पढ़िए.
Right, sir. Sir, I hope everyone has flipped to section 94.
Section 94 CPC.
Okay, Sulakshna ji, give me a thumbs up when you have done. Yeah, I'm watching you. Just take it. All right.
Yeah, beginning से पढ़िए इसको. In order to prevent.
94 supplemental proceeding. In order to prevent the ends of justice from being defeated, the court may, if it so prescribes.
अभी clause D पढ़िए. Appoint.
Clause D, appoint a receiver of any property and enforce the performance of his duties by attaching and selling the property.
See this, क्या power दिया गया है? Sweeping powers to sell the property even before the trial takes place. Because you can make out a case, by the plaintiff must make, my lord, in case the receiver does not take the property from the hands of the defendant, the suit will become infructuous. आपका सूट ही बेकार हो जाएगा. So better your lordship be pleased to appoint a court receiver. Another finest example where the receiver came to be appointed was, there was a beautiful judgment of Calcutta High Court in Indian Cable Company's case. खोलिए जरा, अच्छा रहेगा. Indian Cable Company's case 1989-88 का सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट है, कलकत्ता जजमेंट है, डिवीजन बेंच का. देखिए आप, खोलिए, नेट के ऊपर मिलेगा आपको. इंडियन केबल कंपनी केस.
Just a second, sir.
हाँ जरा खोलिए, वो जरा पढ़ के बताता हूं आपको मैं. मिला आपको इंडियन केबल कंपनी का?
जी सर, I'm sending it to everyone so that everyone can open it. Any relevant paragraph to read, sir?
उसमें देखिए, relevant paragraph is starting the subclause B. The court can court can grant mandatory orders even before the for giving the entire relief itself. तो पढ़िए देखिए. What is the citation of the Indian Company Company says? Sumitra Chakraborty's case.
Yeah, this is
that is the citation. I'll give you exactly. Citation है आपके पास 85 Calcutta, page number 248.
It's 1962, sir.
19 no AIR 1985 Calcutta.
Okay, I think I have the wrong one then.
No, हाँ ये लीजिए आप 1985 Calcutta, page number 248. That is authored by Justice A.K. Sen, Anil Kumar Sen.
Sumitra Chakraborty.
This judgment, every student of law should note. Every young lawyer, senior lawyer should know this. One of the fantastic judgment.
Yeah, I have it now, sir. कहाँ से read करना है?
Yes. यहाँ पे बताता हूँ आपको मैं exactly. AIR निकालते तो अच्छा था. AIR है आपके पास? AIR में head note मिलेगा, लेकिन I बताता हूँ मैं exactly. Mandatory orders can be granted even at interlocutory stage, even it results in granting of the entire relief with the suit. The court is not powerless. देखिए, the court is not powerless. वो पढ़िए आप.
So check करता हूँ sir, एक मिनट.
It must be second last paragraph. The landlady had thrown the tenant, taking the law in their own hand. Paragraph number 32 देखिए आप. 31 से शुरू कीजिए. In
the instant case, the grossly illegal acts of the defendant landlady were sought to be camouflaged under an ineffective patch of legal coloring, which must have been done under legal advice. Unfortunately, these legal acts were aided and abetted by the police, which again is an ominous trend and should be deprecated in no uncertain language. This is therefore a fit case calling for restoration of possession to the plaintiff appellant at the interlocutory stage. To do otherwise would be to allow the defendant to perpetuate the wrong she has committed and to reap the benefit of her illegal act, which the law can never permit.
So at the interim stage, the possession was given. Paragraph number 22 में पढ़े, mere delay cannot be, we cannot put a premium on the dishonesty of the defendant. Paragraph number 28 पढ़िए.
Yes, sir. 28 says, mere delay in filing the suit cannot obviously have the effect of putting a premium to wrongful acts so as to allow the wrongdoer to reap the benefit of his act till the suit is finally disposed of. If the status quo has been changed or altered by wrongful act, the court should not be hesitant to exercise its power to restore the status quo, and even at the
status quo
even at the interlocutory stage by an order of mandatory injunction, simply because the status quo at the date of the filing of the suit is different from what it was before. And that is bound to be different as cause of action for a suit is antecedent to the filing of the suit, unless, of course, the suit is filed on the very day the wrongful act is done.
So this judgment is also a unique judgment. So a person, the landlady had dispossessed the tenant. अभी सूट कैलकाटा, मद्रास एंड बॉम्बे में a suit will take minimum 10 years. In those days, 15, 20 years. Abhi aajkal to minimum 10 years. So 10 years, where will you stay on a footpath? Huh? So the courts are not powerless to grant injunction on the very first day put in possession. By invoking the provisions of both Order 40, Rule 1 CPC, invoking the provisions of Section 94 surplus T, and also a mandatory order of injunction at interlocutory stage under Order 39, Rule 1 and 2. Please note that when you are drafting a plain, your prayer should always contain a strong submission with regard to interim orders. So under Section 8, maybe when you are filing a suit for recovery of your movable properties, it's a costly painting, a costly antique item. Suit will take a longer time. You must get an order of injunction, let the order be passed appointing a court receiver, or mandatory order of injunction be granted to you to put the property in your possession. Otherwise, the suit is likely to become infructuous. The painting and antique may be faded. It will lose its charm. It will lose its value. So, merely filing of a suit, it takes longer time. In India, we are following Anglo-Saxon rule of law. In Anglo-Saxon rule of law, the trial is very slow. Plain padega. उस जमाने में written statement, at least अभी तो you had to file the written statement 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. Earlier days, there was no time period prescribed. Discretion of the court. People used to file suit and summons ही नहीं लगाते थे 2-2 साल तक. Written statement was being filed after 5 years, 6 years. The court were entertaining. That was the state of affair. And उसके बाद discovery inspection बहुत time लगेगा. Then उसके बाद court will fix up a date for a arbitration, mediation, conciliation. ये सब procedure. Then file affidavit of document. Interrogatories file कीजिए. Then examination chief, inspection लेने के बाद file affidavit under Order 12, Rule 13. कितना time लगता है? Step by step. Examination chief. Then Order 16 के अंदर you list of witnesses. So each time you go to the court, they'll give you minimum 1 month's time or 2 months' time. They will not keep it next day. Day-to-day trial is impossible because we are over-flooded. Our courts are over-flooded. We are one of the most populous country in the world. And we are litigation-minded. We, all of us are, litigating public. You can't blame the court. There are no appointments by the government. Government has its own problem. The Supreme Court has been stressing and requesting the increase कीजिए. So इसीलिए, as a young lawyer, draft your plain, and your interim orders should be very, very powerful. Prayers, prima facie case must be made out. Absolutely no room to leave that you believe the court, you have a strong case. Sound case, you are likely to succeed. The court should be convinced. Your drafting should be such, you must have a artistic drafting. If you do a good drafting, your case is half won. The judges, even if you are busy, they read the plain and your pleadings and they pass orders, many judges, intelligent judges. So improve your drafting skill. Drafting skill improve करने के लिए keep reading the judgment of the Supreme Court. Read CPC knowledge, Evidence Act की thorough लगिए. And every day keep reading at least 10 to 15 judgments. Not 1 time, 2 time, 3 time पढ़िए, लिखते रहिए आप. Then only you improve your skill, not by copying from the computer or your friend को पूछे मुझे precedent भेज दीजिए आप. No, avoid that practice. You will never learn. Start writing with your own hand. Then your drafting skill will improve. The relevant sections of the CPC, of the Indian Evidence Act, Limitation Act will go in your brain. समझे ना आप? ये करना बहुत जरूरी है. So that is what you understood what requirements are to be, what requirements are, yeah. Yes.
Sir, there's one little interesting case in my book, लिखा हुआ, if I can share.
जी.
This case is Lakshmi Reddy's case, which says that receiver के ऊपर है ये, that the receiver is not an agent of the parties, but an officer of the court.
Yes.
It represents the court and both the parties also. He's a mutual officer. Plaintiff cannot claim adverse possession because the receiver has been in possession for 12 years. So that is what the judgment is.
Correct. Because the court is he is a custodial legis, an officer of the court. He is come with a permissive occupation. When a permissive occupation is the adverse possession cannot be claimed. Even if you come basically as a tenant or a licensee, you cannot say that I become adverse owner. Unless you're, after termination of your lease, you become tenant holding over under the TP Act. Rent has been accepted, not accepted, thereafter about 12 years, then you may become adverse possession, you can claim, provided your lease is terminated. After termination of the lease, you have been staying to his knowledge publicly without paying him consideration, and you're paying taxes up in uninterruptedly possession, you can do that. But if he is continuously receiving rent from you, your contractual relationship survive. Your relationship of landlord and tenant is renewed. So by no stretch of imagination, the possession becomes adverse. Adverse के लिए the possession of the plaintiff or defendant must be hostile. एकदम गर्मा गर्मी तगड़म तगड़ी मारम मारी होना चाहिए. Why have you come into my possession? Who are you? Why he has not taken? The real owner is in South Africa, London, Bahar, foreign country. Mein, you are enjoying the premises for more than 12 years. Under section 27 of the Limitation Act, if the real owner has not taken trouble to evict you from the premises, he loses his right of prescription ownership right. Section 27 ra padhiye, Limitation Act is very important.
Yes, sir. Limitation Act सबके पास है?
Section 27.
Okay. Rajesh ji, give me a thumbs up when you have section 27. Okay. Reading section 27 now. Extinguishment of right to property. At the determination of the period hereby limited to any person for instituting a suit for the possession of any property, his right to such property shall be extinguished.
So the relevant article for recovering property in the Limitation Act, Article 64, 65, 66, 67.
Yes, sir. ये आप पढ़ा चुके हैं.
पढ़ा चुके हैं. ये ध्यान में रख लीजिए आप. If a real owner has not come forward, अभी judgment में Supreme Court का आ गया. Nair Services में दिया आपको, and Ravindra Grewal's case अभी दिया मैं, isn't it? 3-bench judgment of Justice Arun Mishra's case. वो ध्यान में रख लीजिए आप. Okay. So that will yes, वो हो गया अभी section 8 के ऊपर trustee के बारे में हो गया. Item number B पे आ जाइए आप.
Sir, before that we have a question.
Yes.
Mr. Yogesh Shinde wants to ask, what will be the nature of the suit under section 39, regular suit or a summary suit?
कौन सा वाला section?
Sir, section 39 में जो हमने mandatory लगाई है.
In Bombay में they call it short cost suit, because short cost कहते हैं, but it's a regular suit but short cost. उसमें short cost and long cost होते हैं. It cannot be summary suit. Summary suit is only under section 6 and order 37, rule 1 and 2. Suit under section 6 is a summary suit, and suit under order 37, rule 1 and 2 is a summary suit. But under 39 it is not called, because here you require to lead evidence. Disputed and contentious issues are involved. It cannot be called. It may be called as at the most short cost suit. And हर state में देखिए आप, there are civil court manuals issued by the High Court. So they characterize the nature of the suit. Section 9 of the Code of Civil Procedure not characterize it. The Civil Courts Act of each state must have described it. Especially the civil manual. Bombay में we have a civil manual issued by the High Court and a criminal manual issued by the High Court for the guidance of the lower judiciary. उसके अंदर characterization किया गया, some judgments में किया. And the rules of the High Court, rules of the Civil Court, they will also give the name of the suit. Whether summary suit hai, short cause hai, long cause hai, please have a rule book of your state. Without every court has a rule book. डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट के रूल्स भी होते हैं. देयर आर रूल्स ऑफ द सिटी सिविल कोर्ट, देयर आर रूल्स ऑफ द हाई कोर्ट, अपेलेट साइड, ओरिजिनल साइड, रिट साइड. So, and letters patent भी पढ़िए आप. हाँ, these rules must be known because every act has rules and regulation. वो जानेंगे तो आप रूल्स में मिल जाएगा आपको एग्जैक्टली व्हाट इज द नेचर ऑफ द कैरेक्टराइजेशन ऑफ द सूट, उसमें मिल जाएगा. ओके,
Yes.
एनीबॉडी हैज एनी मोर क्वेश्चन?
Guys, anyone, any question in chat quickly?
Now, I'm coming to section 8B suits. When compensation in money would not afford the plaintiff adequate relief for the loss of the thing claimed. So, you are seeking possession of only the property. For example, a family idol has a value for a HUF family among the Hindus. अगर वो घूम गया, मे बी लॉर्ड कृष्ण भगवान की मूर्ति चोरी हो गई, गणपति फैमिली गणपति भगवान की मूर्ति चोरी हो गई, सर्वेंट ने बेच दिया, किसी और के पास चलेगी, तो यू हैव सेंटिमेंटल वैल्यूज. सो योर सूट विल बी फाइल्ड फॉर रिकवरी ऑफ दैट मनी. That compensation and money will not afford you adequate compensation. I want my murti back. I have my sentimental values. Or anything which is a art, a piece of art, anything which with the owner has attachment, a decorative piece, a private letters, a collection of coins, चोरी हो गए आपके घर से, आपने किसी को दिया, ट्रस्टी को. I want the same thing back. By no stretch of imagination that will compensate me. I want my letters back. Old letters, आपकी habit है. Old books, you are in the habit of collecting old books of century old. So sentimental value वाली चीज के लिए आप सेक्शन 8B के अंदर सूट फाइल करेंगे. ओके, उसके अंदर कंपेंसेशन नहीं, यू आर सीकिंग द रिकवरी ऑफ द आर्टिकल इटसेल्फ. ओके, समझ में आ गया? तो देन सेक्शन 8C पे जाएंगे. नाउ 8C के हिसाब से anybody want to ask any question?
Yes sir, Nusrat sir, एक question है
जी.
Mr. Anand Sharma wants to ask,
जी जी,
receiver कौन हो सकता है? Is it a private person, a person of our choice, or a government person?
it can be anybody. It can be an officer of the court, an advocate. It's a discretion of the court. It may appoint some architect. It depends upon the nature of the property. It's a discretionary relief. Court ही appoint कर सकती है. Court के like who can be an arbitrator? Anyway, any Tom, Dick and Harry can be arbitrator under the Arbitration Act, isn't it? ऐसा कोई disqualification नहीं है, but अभी कुछ qualification दिया गया है under the new act now. So receiver, the judge, the learned judge appointing will select it. Normally in Bombay High Court, we have a receiver's office who is a government officer appointed under the High Court rules. Or sometimes an advocate is appointed. Sometimes the registrar of the court is appointed. More or less 90% they appoint from the panel of the government only, from the court only. But there is no bar in appointing private person as the receiver. Sometimes an architect is appointed, a valuer is appointed, somebody having a good impeccable record, somebody, a reputed person, somebody who is not controversial. He is appointed, somebody who can, who is a trustworthy person, who will report to the court. Like you appoint under the will an administrator, you appoint who will be the person who will execute the will. Somebody who can administer it. So there is no bar as such. The language of Order 40 or Section 94 or Section 52, where receivers are appointed in execution, they don't lay down any qualification as such. It's a discretionary order. In the opinion of the court may select anybody. Okay? Or kuch?
Anand ji, is this okay? All right. Yes, sir, we can move on to 8C.
Yeah, 8C. 8C, when it would be extremely difficult to ascertain the actual damage caused by losses. So sometimes it is not possible for the honorable court to ascertain kya damage hua hai. You cannot lead evidence. When there is a difficult to estimate actual damage, then clause B are not mutually exclusive. Then it applies that to articles which are considered valuable by reason of antiquity. No? Antiquity or creation of a dead or distinguished artist, or impossibility of reproduction, or of a peculiar association with the family or sentiments, then the assessment of damage will be conjectural. It is not possible in these cases. Damage is no adequate remedy in these cases. But if the plaintiff himself assigns the value, the court will not assign the value. It is impossible to give the value. The plaintiff will say the value of the painting which has been damaged is 1 crore. It is done by Mr. M.F. Hussain or some reputed artist here. So whatever value an award is given, it is the discretion of the court. The court will say pay a decree because the value has been given by the plaintiff himself. So the plaintiff himself assigns the value. Then in that event, the court may be compelled to give damages or compensation, because on the basis of this happened also in some English cases which are reported. If you want, I can give the citation. बाद में देखा जाएगा, नहीं यहाँ पे नहीं. I don't have any Indian cases for this. I'll try and get you 8C के अंदर. So that means more or less first possession is sought. Possession is if not traceable for reason A, B, C, conjunction बहुत remote है, then the plaintiff will be asked to quote the price. Of course, the defendant will have liberty to lead evidence to show that the price is exorbitant. It is not so. He will examine expert. Then it's a matter of adjudication by the court. So the court may accept the figure may be given by the plaintiff. Anybody want to ask any question?
Sir, there's just one question. There's one question that, sir, don't you think that B and C are overlapping? How do we differentiate between clause B and clause C?
Clause B के अंदर you can seek only your article. There is no damages because specific word है, it will not afford the plaintiff adequate relief for the loss claim. Whereas C कहता है there would be extreme difficulty in ascertaining. Difficulty in ascertaining, but not impossible. See, there is no impossibility. There is a small window is kept open. That means damages can also be decreed by the court. That is the loose meaning here. When you peep into the section very closely, when there is no specific prohibition. Whereas in the 8B, there appears to be a prohibition, implied prohibition. So you are coming out with a case that here, monetary compensation is not the adequate relief for the loss of the thing claimed. And it is in the possession of the defendant. You must make a case out. And if you don't mention that this honorable court be pleased to appoint a court commissioner to elucidate, take the possession, or appoint a receiver to take possession. It is only section 8B can only be invoked provided the plaintiff comes out with a specific case in the plea that the property the immovable property which is sought to be recovered is in the possession of the defendant. That this honorable court be pleased to order and decree the defendant to hand over to me or grant a mandatory order of injunction. समझे ना आप? Whereas in the case of 8C, there appears to be extremely difficult situation to ascertain the actual damage. But try and get the items are there, the painting looks damaged by not taking care, as a result whereof I suffered damages. Damages to the extent of rupees 1 lakh, 2 lakh may be given to restore it. At the same time, even the article may be given to me. So how you make up the case and how you examine your witnesses, how you prove, that will come. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next clause D देख लीजिए आप. When possession of a thing claim has been wrongfully transferred from the plaintiff, plaintiff के कब्जे से बाहर निकल गया हो. This clause is attracted when plaintiff has been deprived of the property by the wrongful act of the defendant. In such cases, the property does not pass to the wrongdoer. Please note that. The provision shall be attracted if the defendant has obtained possession practicing fraud. Fraudulent misrepresentation. When fraud is played, transaction is vitiated. Please note that here. Possession wrongfully transferred from the plaintiff. Suppression of material fact. Isn't it? Inducement. ये सब करने के बाद, then you have been parted with, and the possession of the plaintiff's article in the possession of the defendant is bound and liable to be returned to the plaintiff because a fraud has been played. Fraud vitiates all transactions. The defendant is not entitled to retain the article even for a single day. I was compelled to, I was induced to part with it. I never had the intention, but he practiced fraud upon me. That is the provisions of section 16, 17, 18 of the Indian Contract Act will come into play. Those who want to cursorily go through the provisions of the Indian Contract Act, खोल लीजिए आप, बता देता हूं आपको मैं.
Should I read, sir?
हाँ, पढ़ लीजिए. Section 16, 17, very interesting provisions हैं वो.
Everyone has ICA? So Lakshana ji, give me a thumbs up when you have 16 ICA.
Yeah.
All right. 16 of Indian Contract Act, undue influence defined. A contract is said to be induced by undue influence where the relation subsisting between the parties are such that one of the parties is in a position to dominate the will of the other and uses that position to obtain an unfair advantage over the other.
So an employer will tell you in this clause, you are his employee. अरे भाई, मेरी वाइफ बहुत अच्छी पेंटिंग बनाती है, सस्ते में बेच रही है आपको. हाँ, ये 10,000 की पेंटिंग 2,000 में दे रही है. He distributes everybody and collects money. You come to know it is a fake painting. So you are under influence of your boss. So he collected a lakh of rupees, selling it to everybody. Like a professor in the college, induce all students. You all buy these particular painting or books which are written by me, and you will pass in the examination. मालूम हुआ कि these all borrowed stuff, which has been copied stuff, which is not genuine, not with the syllabus. So you have been practiced, you have been induced by your professor. So section 16 लग गया हमें. 17 is more on a fraudulent aspect, how suppressio very suggestive falsely places, isn't it? So you know in the first year में पढ़े आप. And 18 के अंदर misrepresentation. These are all, even the definition of section 415 IPC पढ़ेंगे आप, उसमें मिल जाएगा. दिखाइए और section 1415 IPC निकालिए definition. फ्रॉड का डेफिनेशन पूरा आपको मिल जाएगा सेक्शन 415 में.
415 of IPC.
हाँ.
Okay, 415 of Indian
Yes.
Penal Code defines cheating. I hope everyone has IPC. All right. Cheating, whoever by deceiving any person fraudulently or dishonestly induces the person so deceived to deliver any property to any person, or to consent that any person shall retain any property, or intentionally induces the person so deceived to do or omit to do anything which he would not do or omit if he were not so deceived, and which act or omission causes or is likely to cause damage or harm to the person in body, mind, reputation, and property, is said to cheat.
So that is the illustration that can be invoked everywhere. That is closely connected to section 16, 17, 18 of the Indian Contract Act. Isn't it? 415 is a penal action can be invoked against the person under the provisions of section 416, 7, 8, 9 till 20 तक. तो वहां पे ये याद रखिए, because if you want to practice a civil lawyer, don't give up your criminal law. Criminal law is very important. Even at the same time, you want to practice civil law, remember the criminal law. Because as a lawyer, lifelong you should know the provisions of all acts. I do not want you to just confine to one particular branch, but you must be able to lay your hand on the relevant sections of each act, right from the Constitution of India, IPC, CRPC, Evidence Act, Limitation Act, her even Companies Act, the Securitization Act, Banking Regulation Act, सब पढ़ते रहिए. Every day you read one or two bare act. हर पढ़ते रहिए, increase your knowledge. See, all these top eminent Supreme Court lawyers appear in all types of matters. ऐसा कोई मैटर नहीं छोड़े. कपिल सिब्बल साहब हो या हरीश साल्वे हो, कोई भी, you take the names. There are about 15 to 20 big lawyers here. They practice in all branches. Any name the act. So try to aim that you want to become. There are hundreds and thousands of lawyers who just specialize in one field. I call them kacha pakka lawyers. Please don't become like kacha pakka lawyer. Be an accomplished lawyer. Be like Harish Halve. Be like Kapil Sibal. Be like what you call all the eminent lawyers. In them, every high court also has many stream of eminent lawyers. Emulate them. And there are at least 10 to 15 lawyers I can name. You also reading a newspaper every day. Shanti Bhushan was an eminent lawyer who knows all branches. Ram Jetmalani, an eminent lawyer, all branches of law. That is what you must aim for. That is what I am also trying to learn along with you, all laws, not because I am expert, I am learning the laws along with you. I am teaching in the law college, almost all laws, not because I am expert, I am learning along with my student. CPC, CRPC, evidence, constitution, taxation. ऐसा कोई law नहीं मैं पढ़ाया हूँ because I wanted to learn. So I want you all to read all laws. Practice करो नहीं करो, your clients will take you which kind of practice you take. But you should not be oblivious, ignorant of other provision. पढ़ते रहिए आप. Okay? That is my humble request to all of you. So you come to know the provisions of section 16, 17, 18 Indian Contract Act, fraud के बारे में, misrepresentation, and section 415 beautiful definition of the Indian Penal Code. Section 420, 419 बहुत ही beautiful sections है, पढ़ते रहिए आप याद रखिए. What is misappropriation? Section 403, 404 IPC, वो पढ़िए आप. How the agent's breach of trust is committed? Section 415, 416, 409. वो पढ़िए, इतने beautiful definition है. मैक्लॉय ने बहुत ही तबियत से लिखा एकदम, no? Probably. The kind of definition which are given in the IPC with illustration is a marvelous, classic pieces. And Devatri, yes. Now we come to the clause D पे आ जाए. D पे ले लेते हैं हम लोग. D हो गया, ले लिया नहीं?
D हो गया सर.
हाँ, D हो गया. अभी D हो गया तो explanation देख लीजिए. Unless and until the contrary is proved, the court shall, in respect of any article of movable property, claim in clause B or clause C of this section presume. How the court presumes, unless and until contrary is proved, mean unless the defendant leads evidence in rebuttal. The onus is upon the plaintiff under order 18 to establish that the article is in possession of the defendant. So the provisions of the Indian Penal Code, the Code of Civil Procedure tell you, you must lay a foundation. Your plaint must be, you must have a cause of action. Under Order 6, Rule 1 and 2, material fact must be disclosed, isn't it? And you must list your articles and documents under the provisions of Order 7, Rule 14. Exhibit the documents. And the law mandates that here, the Evidence Act says that you must, it is the plaintiff must onus of proof. Section 100, 101, 102, 103 of the Evidence Act, 106 of the Evidence Act will tell you a person having a special knowledge must lead evidence, must inform. Section 106, the Indian Evidence Act, it's a beautiful act. Section 106, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just a second, sir. Oh. 106 से related कोई maxim भी है सर एक?
हाँ, वो special knowledge के बारे में, because yes. This, हाँ जी बढ़िए. Onus of proof. Who should lead evidence?
Okay, reading 106. I hope everyone has Evidence Act 106 now. Okay. Section 106 of Indian Evidence Act, burden of proving facts specially within knowledge. When any fact is specially within the knowledge of any person, the burden of proving that fact is upon him.
So the plaintiff is coming out with a specific case, my lord, the specific movable property is in the possession of the defendant, so he must lead evidence. So right to begin will lie under Order 18. Order 18 CPC पढ़िए जरा करो. Order 18. Who should begin first?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, द पढ़िए, because बच्चे लोग समझाएंगे इसके बारे में. ये इसका डेफिनेशन बोलता हूँ मैं.
Order 18, sir.
हाँ, Order 18 CPC पढ़िए, right to begin.
Yes, sir. Just a second, sir. It's the maxim of res ipsa loquitur जो मैं भूल रहा था, sir.
हाँ, yes, that is in the law of tort के अंदर. Res ipsa loquitur. That is as it is, things as it is.
Yeah. Everyone, you have Order 18 CPC now? Okay. Order 18 CPC Rule 1, right to begin. The plaintiff has the right to begin unless the defendant admits the fact alleged by the plaintiff and contends that either in point of law or on some additional facts alleged by the defendant, the plaintiff is not entitled to any part of the relief which he seeks, in which case the defendant has the right to begin.
So relying upon the provisions of Section 106 of the Indian Evidence Act, which must be read in conjunction with Order 18 of the Code of Civil Procedure, the plaintiff must discharge his burden before the court, my lord, that the article which is sought to be recovered is in the exclusive possession of the defendant, which belongs to me, which he has unscrupulously or without my knowledge and consent misappropriated, taken it back, and he is acting in a fiduciary capacity, a trustee, which he is bound and liable to return to me. Number one. Okay. Then the explanation says, unless and until the contrary is proved, the court shall, in respect of the article property claim, court shall presume. Underline the word presume. That means if no evidence is led by the defendant or plaintiff, the court will presume that the compensation money would not afford the plaintiff adequate relief for the loss. So a presumption can be drawn by the court under Section 4 of the Evidence Act. निकालिए may presume, shall presume and conclusive proof. Section 4 निकाल लीजिए Evidence Act.
All right. I hope everyone is at section 4 evidence. All right. Section 4 Evidence Act shall presume. It says whenever it is directed by this act that the court shall presume a fact, it shall regard such fact as proved unless and until it is disproved.
So यहाँ पे plaintiff has come out with a contention that monetary compensation would not give me adequate relief. So plaintiff has led his evidence. That evidence can only be proved by accepted by the court of law if the defendant has not gone in the box, led evidence to the contrary, his own evidence or examining his expert, or cross-examination has been done effectively. So the examples of may presumes you will find in section 114 of the Code of the Evidence Act. उस पे illustration A to J तक रहेंगे. वो some other time लेंगे हम लोग, खाली बता देना बच्चे लोग को next देखने के लिए. Section examples are 114 natural presumption बोलते हैं उनको, may presume के, and shall presume के section 79 से लेकर 80 91 वो लेंगे, and conclusive proof के 42 section 112 के अंदर. Some other topic is a big topic, just bear in mind. So ultimately the court will draw up the presumption that the defendant has not led evidence. That means the plaintiff case is proved. So I am going to accept the plaintiff case under section 8 that compensation in money cannot afford him adequate relief and he must return the article in possession. Or number 2, B, that it would be extremely difficult to ascertain the actual damage caused by the loss. It is not possible to ascertain the loss unless the plaintiff himself says that it may cost about 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 1 crore, 2 crore, depends upon the jurisdiction. This is the evidentiary value. This is the standard of proof which is coming up before the court of law, relying upon section 4, section 106 of the Evidence Act, and the provisions of order 18 of the Code of Civil Procedure and section 8. Okay. Anybody has any question, and do we have time? I think we have crossed the time. Raghav? और कुछ?
Yes, sir.
8:30 हो गया अभी. I think student लोग को ज़्यादा बोर भी नहीं करेंगे. Next topic will be interesting. That is the defense. That is 9 को बाद में लूँगा मैं. That deals with the defenses of the defendant in a suit like this. What kind of defenses he can take? बहुत लंबा topic है ये. This will take at least 1 hour to next time deal करेंगे. अभी कोई क्वेश्चन है तो सवाल जवाब पूछ लीजिए, मैं आंसर कर दूंगा, and we can wind up and enjoy our meal and listen to music and go to sleep.
Yes, sir. Sir, so let's take 2 minutes, sir. देखते हैं if anyone has any question.
Yes, yes, I am prepared to it. I can give 5 minutes, no problem. सुलक्षणा जी को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है? कोई सवाल है?
I'll give you the mic, Sulakshana ji.
Just give her the mic. She is nodding her hand. पूछ लो, कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं. कामले मैडम from Maharashtra. Jai Maharashtra है.
I've given you the access, Sulakshana ji.
सुलक्षणा जी कोई है प्रॉब्लम? कोई सवाल पूछना है आपको? Any question? तुम्हें आवडलं काय? बरं. हेतल आपको कोई है क्वेश्चन? नहीं.
हाँ सर.
जी
सर आवडलं.
Very good, thank you. कोई सवाल? Any question you want to ask, Lochana?
No, I want to ask कि आप बोल रहे हो ये सब पढ़ना है, लेकिन सर टाइम मैनेजमेंट कैसे करने का, उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा.
A busy man takes out time for everything. A lazy man says I have no time. अच्छा. A busy man takes out time for everything. लेजी पर्सन बोलेगी मेरे पास टाइम ही नहीं है. So don't fall in the category of a lazy person. I have no time. So we can
Okay,
take our time. हर चीज के लिए टाइम निकालिए, आधा घंटा, 1 घंटा, 2 घंटा, whatever you can do that. I try to read everything. I flirt with all subjects. Newspaper में तीन चार पढ़ता हूँ सुबह में. I read Indian news, American news, Canadian news, ऐसा नहीं, सब पढ़ते हैं. All American cases, Indian cases, English cases, German cases, सब पढ़ते हैं हम. निकाल लेते हैं, थोड़ा वक्त निकाल लीजिए. We can take it out. Excuse, that is not an excuse to that मेरे पास time नहीं है. The American president, I believe, he sleep only for 4 hours. The Obama, when he was there, he used to read everything, read and read and read. And the पूरे world की कहानी they understand the full geography of the world. And even our prime minister is very hardworking man. He works for about, I believe, 16 to 18 hours. So you can also do that. And our Supreme Court judges and High Court judges, they read, how much work they are putting on. 100 matters they are disposing a day. You and me argue 1 or 2 cases. Salutes to the Supreme Court and High Court and lower judiciary. Lower judiciary is burdened with so many trial matters, how they are conducting. Remarkable. And court staff, hundreds of matters they are handling. You come and see one day, watch. आप देखिए कोर्ट में आके the kind of work they are doing it. You will get inspiration. You should not get perspiration, you got inspiration. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sir, एक question है.
जी.
There's one question. Sir, 8K1D का, is there any relation with 43 of Transfer of Property Act?
Yeah.
Should I read TPA?
TPA, हाँ खोल लीजिए, section 43 भी खोल लीजिए.
I believe, sir, it is about immovable property. So वही
Unauthorized, yeah, it is not applicable.
Yeah.
Section 43 speaks of a transfer of property, immovable property. That has no relevance to section 7 and 8, which deals with movable property.
I'll nevertheless read it once.
Yes, पढ़ लीजिए.
Transfer by unauthorized person who subsequently acquires interest in the property transferred, where a person fraudulently or erroneously represents that he is authorized to transfer certain immovable property and professes to transfer such property for consideration. Such transfer shall, at the option of the transferee, operate on any interest which the transferor may acquire in such property at any time during which the contract of the transfer subsists. Nothing in this section shall impair the right of the transferees in good faith for consideration without notice of the existence of the said option.
A person having no authority when he acquires property is under obligation to retransfer it back to the actual owner. Unless somebody acquires an interest, what do you call it? A person in third party in good faith, that is section 52, 52A of the Transfer of Property Act, which is a very interesting subject, doctrine of the fraudulent transfer. देख लेंगे आप section 53.
Should I read it, sir?
Yes, 53 पढ़ लीजिए आप. This is connected to 53.
Everybody has 53 in front of them? Okay. Section 53 of the TPA, fraudulent transfer. Every transfer of immovable property made with intent to defeat or delay the creditors of the transferor shall be voidable at the option of any creditor so defeated or delayed. Nothing in this subsection shall impair the rights of a transferee in good faith and for consideration. Nothing in this subsection shall affect any law for the time being in force relating to insolvency. A suit instituted by a creditor, which term includes a decree holder, whether he has or has not applied for the execution of his decree, to avoid a transfer on the ground that it has been made with intent to defeat or delay the creditors of the transferor, shall be instituted on behalf of or for the benefit of all the creditors.
Yes.
Every transfer of immovable property made without consideration with intent to defraud a subsequent transferee shall be voidable at the option of such transferee. For the purpose of this subsection, no transfer made without consideration shall be deemed to have been made with intent to defraud by reason only that a subsequent transfer for the consideration was made.
So when a decree is passed against the husband for a sum of rupees 1 crore or return the property, during the pendency of a suit, he transfers to wife or brother, sister. That is fraudulent transfer. Pendentalite section 52 हम पढ़े आपने. Such transactions are bogus. These are sham, colorable, bogus transactions will be set aside. Huh? Somebody who had no notice can take up the plea that I'm a bona fide purchaser for consideration, but he has to prove to the hilt. Section 106 Evidence Act lag jayega usko. So these are fraudulent transactions. Many done. Benami transaction, isn't it? Benami Transaction Prohibition Act. These are examples. कभी discuss करेंगे इसके ऊपर case law बहुत है. Okay. Then doctrine of part performance section 53A is all given here. Part performance तो पढ़ चुके हैं आपने law college में, career में समझाएंगे उसके अंदर. So the question is not connected to section 8 and 9 because transfer of property की जो section आपने बोले 43 and 50, they all dealing with immovable property, not with movable property. Anybody has any more question before we find up?
Sir, I think we are done for the day. Anyone, अगर आपके पास कोई question है,
क्वेश्चन लिख के रखिए, अगले लेक्चर में ले लेंगे.
yes, you send it to me on WhatsApp. हम अगले लेक्चर में उसको लेंगे. And also next lecture शायद नहीं होगा next week owing to Diwali and the festive week that we have the next week. But जो भी होता है, I will inform you on the WhatsApp group like I always do.
In case you all want to have any alternate day, let me know in advance 2-3 days. मैं हो जाएगा, लेंगे. Okay, I don't mind taking. Like I'm taking tomorrow for my college students the Juvenile Justice Act कल Friday ले रहा हूँ. So in case your students are inclined, you are inclined free time, बताइए. I am open to taking any time. If दिवाली डे छोड़ के कभी आप कोई भी सैटरडे ले सकते हैं, संडे भी ले सकते हैं. ओके, सब थोड़ा फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी रखिए, then everybody is enjoying, तो ले सकते हैं, provided they have time. ओके
सर, एक क्वेश्चन आ गया.
जी जी ले लेंगे.
सर, मिस्टर हरजस आनंद wants to ask what happens in, थोड़ा लंबा क्वेश्चन है सर, मैं
हाँ जी बोलिए.
Sir, what happens in the circumstance where no monetary compensation has been paid for as per section 8B, but later the plaintiff has to put a price for the loss as the possession now cannot be delivered for any reason whatsoever, and it happens to be the case that monetary compensation claimed later is beyond the pecuniary jurisdiction of the court hearing it. If you want, I can repeat it again.
The plaint will be returned to proper court for presentation because the court has no jurisdiction. मैं समझ गया question, don't worry. If the court has no jurisdiction to try, how the court will try the case? Plaint will be returned under the provisions of Order 7, Rule 10A. That is the answer.
Harjas ji, do you have any further question on this? You have the mic.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Mr. Anand, you're audible. Sir, what if someone has already sold some property that you are prosecuting for? Is there any way that you can recover it from the transferee?
Somebody has sold. Yeah, third party can be brought. You join him as a party. The person who is in possession, you make an application for transposition under Order 1, Rule 10 CPC. Make him a party. Let the decree be bound. He be bound by the decree.
Order 1, Rule 10.
10 CPC.
Okay.
Joining the subsequent purchaser as a necessary party.
Okay, should I read order 1 rule 10? I
Yeah.
think it's an important one.
Very important provision पढ़िए.
Do we have order 1 rule 10, everyone? All right.
Order 1 rule 10 subclause 2. Court may strike out or add parties.
The court may, at any stage of the proceedings, either upon or without the application of either party, and on such terms as may appear to the court to be just, order the name of any party improperly joined, whether as plaintiff or defendant, be struck out, and that the name of any party who ought to have been joined, whether as plaintiff or defendant, or whose presence before the court may be necessary in order to enable the court effectually and completely to adjudicate upon and settle all the questions involved in the suit, be added.
So a third party will be joined by the court suo moto, or the plaintiff can make an application to the court that the property has been wrongfully sold to XYZ. In order to obtain complete and effective relief, his joinder is necessary and should be joined. Otherwise, the suit will become infructuous and decree cannot be obtained.
Got it, sir.
समझ में क्या?
अर्जस जी अभी भी आपका कोई जवाब नहीं आया है. In case you want to ask, you ask, or we will wrap it up then.
भयानी साहब का कोई सवाल किया है आज? हेतल बहाने का. खाली मुस्कुरा रहे हैं बैठ के आप.
चलिए, I think sir we are done for the day then.
Okay, nice talking to everybody, all of you. Be energetic, enjoy, have a nice vacation. Wish you all a very happy and prosperous Diwali with lots of fun.
Sir, thank you.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Sir,
Aapke
I
bhi-
have sir, I am also from Mumbai, and
great.
I have some personal issues in litigation. Like,
आके
So-
मिलिए, no problem. मेरा नंबर लिख लीजिए राघव से, आके मिल लीजिए कभी.
okay, sir, thank you very much.
और आपके नीचे साहब कौन है हमारे? आपके नीचे
Mr. Rajesh Tandon.
राजेश साहब कैसे हैं? टंडन साहब. टंडन साहब का सवाल कोई नहीं आया आज. बैंगलोर से है ना? बैंगलोर से. Yes,
Hey, sir, I am
how are you?
presently there in Amritsar, posted in Amritsar.
अमृतसर में है आजकल आप. Very nice, beautiful place. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Punjab
Yes,
is
sir.
a lovely place. I envy all the people who are living in Punjab. A beautiful atmosphere.
Sir,
Nice. All of you have a nice time and have a nice Deepavali. Huh?
Same
Thank
to
you,
you,
sir.
sir. Wish you a very happy
Thank you.
My
Deepavali.
pleasure, my love you. All
happy
of you.
Diwali.
Thank you so much and have a nice
Thank you.
time. Okay,
Thank you,
Raghav,
sir.
हम लोग we will call it a day then.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you so much for your
Okay,
time.
Shabba Khair, everybody. All the best. Huh?
Thank you, sir.
Likewise.
Thank you, sir.
Happy Diwali.
Okay, bye-bye. Happy Diwali and Happy New Year to all of you. And have a
Thank you,
nice
sir.
time. Okay, bye-bye. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. I'm leaving now.
Good
Okay, see you. Bye.
Good night, guys.
Good night.